And welcome to another episode of the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, a special edition with the NBA Draft and the Pistons. I'm Taylor Phillips along with Ed Smith and Frank Vasner. Let's go ahead and get to our opening statement. My opening statement, the lock is now official. The Pistons land Cade Cunningham. He was there the whole time. Ed, what is your opening statement?
My opening statement is this: after so many days, so many weeks, so many smoke screens, the wait is finally over. The future of Detroit sports has finally arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Cade Cunningham. Let's go.
Yeah. Frank Vasner, what's your opening statement?
My opening statement is this: the drafting of Cade Cunningham to the Detroit Pistons marks not only a new era for the Pistons, but also a new face for Detroit sports.
Oh, yeah. And before we analyze this first overall pick, we want to remind everyone that this show is sponsored by the Viget Sports mobile app where great fans cover. Sign up with the referral code STABLES with a capital S and the rest of the letters being lowercase, including the letter B as in billionaire. That's the Viget Sports mobile app, available on the Apple App Store and Google Play. Sign up with a referral code STABLES. So let's get after it with our What's Your Grade segment. The Detroit Pistons take point guard and shooting guard Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State, in case you don't know where he's from, at first overall in the NBA draft. Like I said, I told everyone he was a lock the whole time. The media could not believe me, but hey, they finally caught up to it today when the Pistons made their final decision to, pick Cade Cunningham. He tried on the cap yesterday before that big storm split apart overnight in our state. Well, hey, let's get after it. Ed, what is your grade? I'm sure it's an A+. We'll all grade an A+.
My grade, Taylor, Frank, it is a big fat A+. I could give it double plus if I wanted to. This is frankly the best night I could ever remember being a Detroit Pistons fan. Probably since the night that they won the title in 2004. It's been that long since I felt this excited, this level of excitement, this level of happiness, watching this team, watching this organization, this franchise. In terms of fit and need and want, as to how Cade plugs into this team, it's all around. He is the playmaker. He can be the playmaker. He can be the shot creator. He can be the guy that you have to go to in the clutch. He can be a guy that can help lead this team with his abilities, the skills that he possessed. This is a kid that, even though he played, yes, he was a one and done in college, but take a look at this. He got 20 points. He averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, 3.5 assists on 44% shooting, 40% from three, and not to mention pretty damn good at his free throws. Okay, imagine Ben Simmons, but not scared to shoot or score the basketball, or the ability to create a shot like a Jason Tatum, or a guy that has handles like a Luka Doncic. Some may even say he has the playmaking capabilities of a LeBron James or even a Giannis Antetokounmpo. That is what you are getting in this young man. Even though he's 19 going on 20, he is seemingly already wise beyond his years. The way he carries himself in interviews, the way he carries himself off the court, I believe a big major part of that is the fact that he himself is a father of a 2-year-old precious little girl named Riley. We've already seen the coverage, the attention of that being focused on as we led up to and when the pick itself was made. So we know how much being a father has seemingly motivated Cade to not only be a provider on the court, but be a provider off the court as well. As into what he can bring to the Pistons, like I said, with the players that are already around, that can already surround and be around him, with Sadiq Bey, with Isaiah Stewart, with even Killian Hayes in the backcourt. Sure, you got to figure out a way with those two essentially being your two ball handlers, who's going to be that primary. More than likely, you would assume it would be Cade. But still, you could find a way to figure that out, knowing that Killian was what he only had an injury. He had an injury-plagued season last year. He could get reaccommodate to himself, especially now with his new teammate on the team with him. There's lots of other things to get into what the Pistons did, other moves surrounding their roster, salary and whatnot. But in terms of fit for need now and in the future, they made the absolute right choice. Don't get me wrong. In another universe, another timeline, another multiverse, where we don't get the number one pick and then let's say we're outside of it. We got number 2 or we're number 3 or 4, and we find a way to trade up to number 2 or whatever. Jalen Green, I would not have been upset with that. I told you guys for months. Jalen Green would have been my number 1 had we not gotten Cade. But we won the lotto, all right? We got the golden ticket in the Wonka bar, and there was no way in hell we were passing up on this chocolate factory. This guy was right there on a silver platter. They did the right thing. They didn't overthink it. Troy Wheeler, I get it. Listen out to as many offers as you possibly could. But at the end of the day, the smart pick was right there. It was always there. And I got to tell you guys, from Commissioner Adam Silver announcing his name to Cade.
Which I saw live. That was so awesome. Perfect.
Yes. Especially with fans in attendance as well, live audience. It was very nice. It made the moment feel even more inclusive. And the fact that Cade was there with his daughter, with his mother and father, his family there with him, support him at the biggest moment of his life. From the moment of him walking up on that stage, putting on that Pistons cap, putting on the Buffs sunglasses, as you heard Jalen Rose go absolutely crazy, being beyond hype, basically being the spirit animal, what many Pistons fans are feeling right now, including myself. This was about as close to a perfect pick as you could possibly make. Kudos to Troy Weaver. Kudos to the rest of to the front office. Kudos to the Pistons. Basketball is back in the Motor City, and I cannot wait.
Oh, man. Neither can either of us. Frank, spill it all out.
That is one tough act to follow for me, Ed. Well done on your part. And by the way, Miguel Cabrera just hit another home run. I just got
497.
Oh my God!
More on that later, but sorry. But I think this might actually be the first unanimous A+ in our What's Your Grade segment. Like Ed said, Cade Cunningham was right there on a silver platter. There was no reason not to take him. The Pistons now have a franchise-changing player and the face of sports in Detroit, as I alluded to earlier. This is somebody who is going to he makes everybody better. He did that when he was at Oklahoma State. You take him off that Oklahoma State team, they don't even sniff the NCAA tournament. And so now I'm really excited to see what he can do with guys like Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart, who are already key pieces to this Pistons core. And when Killian Hayes gets back too, I want to see how he can make him better as well. So that said, this is an A+ for me. There's no reason it can't be an A+.
Well, duh. Yeah, no reason, no way, no how, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So, yeah, we have a comment. What up, Doe? Yes. Dante DT Relaford.
Yeah,
says hi.
That's exactly what up, Doe, to you, my man. That's exactly how Jalen Rose was feeling once Cade wrapped up his interview with Malika Andrews. That his mood, his excitement, his energy, trust me, that's what the whole city was feeling. There was shots of Little Caesars Arena that showed reaction to Cade's interview. Trust me, they're all in. This kid is all in. Everybody's all in. This is a great moment, guys.
Darn right. Now, I know we're celebrating Cade Cunningham, but we got to get to the other stuff too. The Pistons, before they made their selection official, have traded center Mason Plumlee and the 37th overall pick to the Charlotte Hornets for the 57th overall pick. So we're going to go with we're going to do the What's Your Grade segment again. We'll go with Ed and then Frank. Ed, what is your grade on the Plumlee trade?
My grade on that, I'll give it a solid B. I think on the surface, you think, wow, you're giving up a player and you're moving down 20 picks. But think about this in the consideration. Read between the lines. With the fact that you are getting rid of Mason Plumlee, you are freeing up in cap space $9 million. And that's important considering the fact that A, you still got to pay a lot of that dead money still to Blake Griffin when you bought his contract out last year. And B, Cade Cunningham, even though it's a rookie deal, he still got to get paid. He still got to get his bag. So we're talking what, $40-45 million deal just for Cade? You're going to need all the cap space that you could possibly get to fit in the pay the rest of the players and pay Cade and still pay Blake when you got to play him. And knowing this, you could potentially, considering if you do the math right and make certain moves here or there, we're talking potentially $15 to $19 million available in cap space. Or you can maybe go in and add another player or two to help improve this roster. So Troy Weaver knows exactly what he's doing with this. This is a chess move, not checkers. So it's a B move for now because we don't know what you're going to get in return or what you're going to do with the assets that you got in return for trading Mason Plumlee. But still, no problem with this move whatsoever.
All right. Ed says a mid-range B. Frank, what is your grade on the Plumlee trade?
I got to go B plus here solely for the fact that this is a move done to clear cap space, as Ed alluded to. You have Plumlee's contract coming off the books that clears up $9 million, which, like you mentioned, you're still paying Blake Griffin all that dead money. But down the road, you're going to need all that room to sign Cade Cunningham to his new deal in about 5 years, which is going to be in the neighborhood of $45 million a year.
Yeah, Cade's going to want that Supermax deal for sure.
Yeah, plus guys like Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart and Killian Hayes, they're going to have to get paid as well.
Yep.
And like you alluded to, Ed, this is also possibly going to clear up the opportunity for Troy Weaver to bring in somebody in free agency. Who that could be, we don't know yet. We'll probably talk about that next week. So B plus from me.
All right. Can't wait for free agency. Yes, NBA free agency. We'll keep our eyes on those too. Yes. Got another comment from DT. Yeah, great show, guys. Keep up the great work. Michigan sports needs you guys. Of course. Yes.
Michigan sports just needs this. Think about the whole decade that the whole Pistons franchise and organization has been through since the end of the going to work era to the death of Bill Davidson, the sell of the team, the departure of Joe Dumars, the eras that we had to endure, going through with Stan Van Gundy and such.
Such as Andre Drummond.
Oh my God, don't get me started. So to get to this point, get to this moment now, oh my God, it's so worth it. It's been all worth it so far. And again, the future is bright. It's like, again, a new lease essentially on life if you're a Detroit Pistons fan. This is what it was worth it. Throwing through all those years, those bad seasons, and that 1 year where you get to the playoffs only to get swept by Giannis or to get swept by LeBron. This was worth it just to get to this moment.
Darn right.
Absolutely.
Yep. And then the Pistons extend qualifying offers for guards Frank Jackson and Hamidou Diallo, making them restricted free agents. So we'll start with Ed and then Frank. Are they going to keep them or are they going to let them walk?
Well, it depends. I think, like I said, there's another reason that may factor into why they did deals such as the Mason Plumlee deal. They're going to need all the money they could possibly get to either at least bring one or of those restricted free agents back, or if need be, go find a replacement or an upgrade in the free agency market. I could see ways to where if you need another big man, there's plenty of centers that are available in free agency for this upcoming for this off season. A couple names stand out to me. Willie Cauley-Stein, for an example, you can put him as a backup for Isaiah Stewart, especially now. That's another thing I forgot to mention with the Mason Plumlee trade. This opens up the potential for more minutes for Isaiah Stewart, and trust me, that's a very good thing if you're a Beef Stew fan. Other names that you could potentially get also. Oh my God, I just looked at this. Hey, I wouldn't mind seeing him come back. Boban Marjanovic. It depends on how much money he's going to be asking for, but still, we still don't know what they're going to do as the end result of this. For now, I'm going to go as a B with the expectation to potentially upgrade it at a later point in time.
All right. Frank, how about you?
Well, Diallo, I'm not really surprised that they made a qualifying offer to, excuse me, because I thought he played very well when he got acquired from Oklahoma City. Frank Jackson, I'm kind of 50-50 on whether he comes back or not. I think they wanted to have somebody as insurance in the event that Killian Hayes still can't stay healthy. But, I think that having him there is just good to have. Sorry. It's good to have Jackson there just as that insurance policy in the event Hayes can't play or anything like that. So I'll give this a B.
All right. So, in other NBA draft news, forward Franz Wagner from Michigan, the Wolverines, has been drafted to the Orlando Magic at 8th overall in the NBA draft. Ed, you pointed this out. You pointed this out off the air. He joins Mo Wagner, and he. What was that other one? Let me see.
He gets. I can tell you right now, he gets to be reunited
Jalen
with
Suggs.
he's reunited with his big brother Mo, and also I think even more better the fact that the Toronto Raptors passed up on Jalen Suggs to select Scotty Barnes. I'm sure the Magic was jumping up in the war, jumping up and down in the war room, knowing they were able to essentially get this guy that fell in their lap. And now you pair him with a wing scorer such as Franz Wagner. That could have been a more picture perfect duo, partnership, tandem, tag team, however the hell you want to call it. That was as more of an ideal scenario as you could possibly imagine if you were a Magic fan. The fact that Franz, he still has things to work on, but it's the fact that he gets to play with his brother, but now also has an outstanding point guard to help distribute the ball to him, help facilitate and make him better in Jalen Suggs. That's a win-win for him. It's a win-win for the Magic. And oh, by the way, a win-win for the Wolverines. Juwan Howard producing a top 10 lotto pick. How about them apples?
Yeah. Game on. Frank.
I'd pretty much have to second everything Ed said. Franz gets to play with his brother, who I didn't realize until tonight was actually in Orlando, mind you. Also gets to play with Jalen Suggs, who falls in the Magic's lap. And also another check mark for Juwan Howard in terms of putting a top 10 pick into the association.
And also, not to mention, to make the moment even better, assistant coach Sadie Washington for the Wolverines, who was a key and integral part of that coaching staff. He was there in Brooklyn to help support Franz. So all around, good, big, good, excuse me, man, I'm so pumped up. Heartwarming moment for Michigan sports and frankly Detroit sports all in general tonight. So you factor this in. We just mentioned, right, Miggy just hit his second homer of the game. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into the performance Casey Mize had. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so pumped and excited to see this. We got the Eyes are playing. We got the Tigers here. We got the Lions seemingly on paper trying to do something right for once. Oh, good things. Good things, everyone.
At least trying. Yeah, the Lions, yeah. Unfortunately, there's nothing Lions to talk about this week, but we got plenty of...
Only except for the fact that Coach Dan Campbell, I guess if you want to say, if there's one thing you can say about Coach Dan Campbell, he is never short of providing you sound bites. So this week was, I believe, the start of training camp. By the way, on a quick side note, it's worth noting, as I found out over the radio and on Twitter today, Taylor Decker, who at once publicly voiced his own opinion about regards to whether or not he was going to get the COVID-19 vaccination. He once was not going to get it. Now it's come out he is getting it. Hey, that's up to him. Props to him. That's his business on why he made the decision. But hey, prioritize your health, keeping yourself and your family and your friends and your coworkers, teammates safe. That's a good thing. Props to Taylor Decker. But on to Coach Campbell, he mentioned at least 4 things. If he said he doesn't really have a long list of rules. You know, he had 4 rules that he had as training camp over this week. It was don't be late, keep your weight in check. I'm sure I'm forgetting one of those, but at least I know the last one was don't disrespect the game. So when you consider the fact in terms of tone, culture, however you want to call it, as much as I hate it being used as a buzzword, the overall atmosphere and feeling and aura that we're seeing here compared to what we had with Patricia is an absolute night and day difference. So listen, we still don't know what's going to look on the field. We've yet to see this guy coach a play here, at least as a full-blown head coach. We know the little work that he did in Miami, but if you can get the players to believe in you, that's one thing. That's already the first head start. Patricia did not inspire his players. If we can see at least that that change of difference from here, we could see little signs of improvement. Hey, this is a rebuild in motion, but still, there's something to look forward to, like I mentioned before, of what we're seeing with the Lions from top on down, from not Martha, but Sheila taking the reins as ownership, Brad Holmes, the general manager, helping make the roster, and Coach Campbell with his coaching staff and his array on the staff, helping put the players together, give them the right mindset to perform and execute at the best level. On paper, it's what they should have been doing a long time ago, but it's nice to see them actually try it. Better late than never.
Yep, true. The only question is, again, fourth down conversions and timeouts and clock management. How smart can he be? We'll have to find out. So let's get to the Red Wings here. In chronological order, they traded goaltender Jonathan Bernier and a 2021 third-round pick to the Carolina Hurricanes for goaltender Alex Nedeljkovic, who was a really good goaltender, a 2-year, $6 million contract, $3 million annual average value. Ed, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Frank. Ed, what is your grade on Nedeljkovic?
It's an A. It's an A, absolute A. The fact that you got this guy who put up the numbers that he put up last year, still young, still has miles to go, and the fact that consider the fact that you already drafted another goaltender, another young goaltender for the future in this year's draft. To me, what did I tell you guys last week? I had said if there's at least two key holes that Eisman needed to address in this draft, it was defenseman and goaltender. And in one fell swoop, with a snap of his fingers, as if it was Thanos himself, Stevie Y took care of that. Trust the frickin' Iser plan, people.
Yep. Frank?
Well, I got to give this one an A as well. And it is worth mentioning that really all the Red Wings gave up in this was technically a third-round pick, as Jonathan Bernier did not sign with Carolina, but he signed with New Jersey in free agency.
Wow.
So the fact that Steve was able to swing a third-round pick, get Nedeljkovic into the fold, and sign him to a very team-friendly deal, that just speaks volumes about how well the Iser plan is working and how we all just need to trust it. So this gets an A from me.
Think about
especially since Nedeljkovic is going to be a starter. And for the life of me, I still can't figure out why Carolina would let him go.
Yeah, a starter over Thomas Greiss.
Think about this. Eisman got him to sign for less money here than what he wanted in Carolina.
There you go.
What voodoo magic is this?
That's a good question.
It's not quite voodoo magic. It's like it's using your brain. Get it?
And of course, Ed, the only knock you'll have on Nedeljkovic is he's from Parma, Ohio, and he just happens to be an Ohio State Buckeyes fan.
Oh, right. Please. If I can deal with Taylor Decker on my team, on the Lions, I can deal with this.
There you go. Right. So we're both even there. So you're both even there. So the Red Wings re-signed center Michael Rasmussen to a 3-year contract extension worth a $1.46 million cap hit. $1,022,000, that's next year. $1.48 million for 2023 and $1.9 million for 2024. Ed, we'll go with you, and then we'll go to Frank. Ed, what is your grade on the re-signing or the extension 3 years of Michael Rasmussen?
For the fact that you are getting him at a low clip in terms of salary, give it a B+. Rasmussen, depending on what he does in the lineup, he could be either be a key contributor on the power play or on certain lines of where, you want to pair him with either your veterans or one of your young core. That's up to you. But the fact that he got him, again, is not not too much of a big hit off the cap. Good move by Eisman. B+ for me.
Frank, what's your grade on Rasmussen?
I'm giving this a B+ as well, just simply for the fact that it's a very team-friendly deal that Steve got him signed to, $1.46 million, and hopefully he can actually improve that grade with his performance in the coming years.
All right, and Jose Cisnero just threw a wild pitch, and it's now 6-2 Tigers, who are recently up 6-1 after 7 innings of play. Yeah, there's already 2 out and a man on second, but Jose Cisnero continues to be a dud. But going to the NHL draft, the Red Wings select defenseman Simon Edvinsson from Frölunda, Sweden at 6 overall. Ed, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Frank. Ed, what's your grade on Edvinsson? They got a defenseman.
I like it. It takes care of the need I was talking about. I believe Edvinsson. You've seen his work overseas. You know what he's able to do. The fact that you're able to put him and Moritz Seider on the same damn team, and likely one day have those two be your top 2 defensemen on the same line. Think about the theme of what Eisman's trying to build here. He understands between defensemen, from the blue line to the red line. That's your 2 biggest, pardon the pun, lines of defense. The first and the last. Defenseman, goaltender. That was your 2 big weaknesses coming into this offseason. You seemingly helped take care of those and upgraded that at the drop of a hat. And the fact that, you're still getting good experience with the trades that you have made as well, to help mentor these young players into that role. And not to mention the fact, he's Swedish. You know what they say about Detroit Red Wings defensemen with Swedish heritage usually work out. So I give this one an A. I'm tempted to give it an A+, but I want to see how the young man does. So for now, absolute solid A, cracker of a pick.
Yeah, an A it is, because Edmondson can not only handle the puck, he can block a lot of shots. He has the guts and the fierceness.
And he's 6'4".
Shots.
So
6'4", wow.
Oh God.
Oh man. Eisman just pounced on him. Right on the bullseye. Frank, what is your grade on Edmondson?
Well, I'm going to give this one an A as well. I mean, Edvinsson was considered the best defenseman in the draft, not named Owen Power. I'll have a little bit more on him in a moment. But when he had comparisons to Victor Hedman, who has won back-to-back Stanley Cups in Tampa, is considered the best defenseman in the NHL by many, I thought this was a great pick, and Edvinsson will fit in very nicely paired with Mo Seider when both are in Detroit wearing the winged wheel. And, of course, I'm sure we'll say more about Steve's second pick in the first round. But going back to what I said about Owen Power, did you guys happen to notice that not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 of the top 5 picks are playing for the University of Michigan
I remember
next
that.
season?
Think about this. The Wolverines joining a select list of universities that had multiple first-round picks in the NHL draft.
Yes, 5 total, I believe, and 4 of the top 5.
Look at that.
Insurmountable.
Oh goodness.
And
all in a bunch.
If reports have been true that have been coming out, they said Power was going to stay there for another year. I don't know about Matty Beniers and Kent Johnson. Luke Hughes will be coming into the mix next year, and then it was a player that the Blue Jackets drafted in the later first round. His name escapes me. So 5 NHL players on the ice for Mel Pearson and company. Look out.
Yeah, expectation is national championship, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, still got to be earned. But that being said, back to the Red Wings, they select goaltender Sebastian Cossa from the WHL's Edmonton Oil Kings at 15 overall. Let me put this back up here. Yeah, Sebastian Cossa had a .941 save percentage last season.
Oh my!
With Edmonton, yeah, .941 save percentage last season, and he started last season with 12 straight wins. Can you believe that? Oh my God! I would give that an A+. If not, then I'd give it an A.
I'll temper my expectations and give it an A. The fact that, again, beating a dead horse here, but this is what the Red Wings needed to do, center on the theme. You saw what the Lions did in the draft in terms of building from within at the trenches on both sides of the field. You saw what the Tigers have been doing the past couple of years by drafting guys like Matt Manning and Casey Mize, and now seeing this year adding more additions, Ty Madden, amongst others, strengthening their pitching. Pitching is the name of the game. It's how you win baseball games. It's how you win championships. It sets the table, really, frankly, in my opinion, more so than your leadoff hitter. So we see what the Tigers have been doing there, not just for the starting rotation, but also for the bullpen. That explains the number of arms that they've selected. And now what we're seeing here, again, with the Pistons, at least, what you saw with the young core they're building. Now seeing here with the Red Wings, again, the line of building up your defense from the first to the last, strengthening your defensemen at the blue line, which, again, is going to help a hell of a lot more on your power play, too. I might add, and also with better goaltending. Yes, there are going to be instances where you can occasionally get a guy that can stand on his head, and you have two guys capable here now that have the ability to do that, along with Grice occasionally. But again, won't be a necessity every single time out if these players continue to develop on the track that they're developing on. So the fact that you have Grice there as that veteran leadership that can be the mentor for these two young goalies here upcoming for Detroit, it says a lot. And so for Eisman to pull this off, hats off, man. Absolute A for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. An A it is. Frank, you'd probably say the same grade, huh?
I will. I mean, I was tempted to put this as an A+, but I'm just going to temper it a little bit and say A. When I found out that they took Sebastian Casa at 15, I'll be honest with you, I wanted him with their second pick of the first round because I figured that Jesper Wallstedt was going to be gone first. And then when I see the Wings trade up and then they draft him, I was ecstatic because they need, like Ed said, you need to build from within on the back end. You have a goaltender in your system that you're going to count on in a few years because he's still going to have to develop in Edmonton and eventually in Grand Rapids when he comes to play professionally. So at least you've got that in the pipeline. So Steve gets an A from me for this selection.
Plus, it's not bad to have some depth at the goaltender spot. Trust me.
Yep.
You're absolutely right.
Yep. And then they went down the list of the rounds 2 through 7 and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. They got more defensemen. I got another center and another goaltender and a left winger. Can never have enough of any position. So, heading to free agency, the Red Wings signed defenseman Mark Stahl to a 1-year, $2 million contract extension, which is very cheap. Also, Evgeny Svechnikov won't receive a qualifying offer, so he's an unrestricted free agent. The Wings are open to signing him to a 2-way deal, like Frank pointed out, but he will test the open market.
Boy, what another swelling and endorsement of the final years of Ken Holland's draft picks, huh?
Yeah, I know. And then there's more. Luke Glendening to the Dallas Stars, which is kind of shocked me at first when it caught my eye.
Same for me as well. I thought for sure that Ken Holland was going to offer him a fairly large contract, but he ends up going to Dallas.
It's probably more a surprise that he went to Dallas. It's not a surprise that
Ken Holland stayed in Detroit. Yes.
Yeah, it's not a surprise that Glendening left. It's probably a surprise that he went to Dallas of all teams.
Oh, yeah. Good point. And then they signed defenseman Gustav Lindstrom to a 2-year extension, goaltender Calvin Pickard and forward Sam Gagner each to 1-year extensions. So there you go there. And then the newcomers to Detroit, defenseman Ryan Murphy from the Vegas Golden Knights to a 1-year contract. Ed, we'll start with you and then we'll go to Frank. Ed, what is your grade on Ryan Murphy?
Again, another good B+ selection, potential to potentially grow into a higher grade. I like it in terms from depth purposes, in terms of you can have, that's where you don't tire out your young defensemen on multiple lines. You can have adjustments here, like, hey, put this pairing together here, put this pairing together here. Maybe he can work on the power play. You have the pieces here to figure it out and tinker it out. that's why also and that's also why you got Alex Tanguay to be the guy to help run the power play as well, so you can help figure out the rotation and what proper lineups for that unit, both PK1 or PP1 and PP2, or vice versa with PK1 and PK2. So I like it. Especially I like it in terms of depth purposes. It's a good B plus for me.
All right. B plus, says Ed. Frank, what is your grade on Ryan Murphy?
I'm actually going to go much lower, but only because of what Murphy did last year. He was primarily in the American Hockey League with Vegas's AHL team, the Henderson Silver Knights. So this is going to be a C for me because I think he's going to be spending a lot of time in Grand Rapids. Granted, he might be a priority call-up if the need arises to, but I think it's just a decent depth signing by Steve. So I'm giving it a C.
All right. I'm going to range it and then make it a C plus between a B plus from Ed and a C from Frank Vashner. Matter of fact, I'm going to go B minus to range it even more in the middle. I'll go B minus. So next, the Red Wings signed defenseman Jordan Osterley to a 2-year contract from the Arizona Coyotes. Hang on one second. Yeah, let me edit this one. The Arizona Coyotes. Ta-da. Save it. There we go. Yep, defenseman Jordan Osterley, the Arizona Coyotes. Ed, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Frank. Ed, what is your grade on Osterley?
Another B. Again, it's all about filling out what you got to do. Make sure you have bodies there at the defenseman spot, but you can find a role for him on the team as well. So no problem with this. See how it works out. Hopefully it's for the better, but for now, I'll give it a B.
All right, Frank, what's your grade on Osterley?
I'm going B minus on this one. I mean, Osterley is basically the 7th defenseman right now, so I mean, there's going to be times where he will get to play. But I think another big reason why this signing was made, he's from Dearborn Heights. He played at Western Michigan. And another fun fact that I found out about him, he actually just got married recently, and his sister-in-law is actually going to be in my cousin's wedding on September 10th. So,
wow,
a little fun fact for you.
Hey, that's a humble brag. I'll take it.
Yeah,
have fun there.
And I mean,
on a personal note,
and from everything I've heard about him, then the guy's a typical stay-at-home defenseman, not going to take too many risks, go out there and do his job. So I'm giving this a B minus.
All right, a B and a B minus. I'll go 83% B minus to B. So 83% low mid-range B. So the Red Wings signed center P.S. Suter from the Chicago Blackhawks to a 1-year contract. So the Red Wings get a center. Ed, what's your grade on P.S. Suter?
I'll go B minus on this one. You don't know what Suter can bring from his skill set and how he can fit in with the team. But at least it gives you depth purposes behind the center spot. That way it takes the load off of Dylan Larkin, for example. So in terms of minutes and depth purposes, I can give this one a B minus.
All right, Frank?
I'm actually going to go much higher on this one, but a quick note, this is actually a 2-year contract for about $7 million. Just wanted to point that out. But I'm giving this an A minus because Suter was about a half point per game player when he was with the Blackhawks, and I can't really understand why Stan Bowman didn't tender him a qualifying offer. So Steve Yzerman swooped in and gobbled him up. 2-year contract, and also I think he's going to be playing second line center for the most part. And they'll probably stick him on a line with Robbie Fabry and Tyler Bertuzzi because those three played together for the Guelph Storm of the Ontario Hockey League. So there could be some chemistry there. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a big-time scorer, but I think he's going to be a good second or third option for scoring, especially on the power play and penalty kill as well. So I'm going to give this one an A minus.
All right, A minus for Frank. I'm gonna range him, make it a make it a B plus just to be fair. But but let's give him a chance to prove something on the ice. Now, Dan Renouf, a defenseman to a one-year contract. I'm not sure if he which team he came for. I'm guessing the Calgary Flames. But anyway, it's a one-year contract as far as I'm concerned.
I think with most of these deals, I think it's feelers. That's why they're one-year deals to see, hey, how will you fit with this team? And depending on how it goes, we'll probably bring it back for another year or two next off season, or potentially use you as trade bait near the deadline. That's to me, that's how it's gonna go. That's how it's gonna range.
All right. So, what's your grade on Renouf?
B minus.
B minus.
I'll give it. I'll be fair. I'll give it a B. I'll give it a solid B.
Mid-range B. Okay. Frank, what is your grade on Renouf?
I'm giving this a C minus, not because I have any problems with him. It's the fact that he's going to be primarily in Grand Rapids playing for the Griffins, because he actually had a stint there not too long ago, if my memory serves me correctly. So he'll just be in Grand Rapids. The only reason he'll be actually up in the NHL is if something catastrophic happens.
Yep. Forward just struck somebody out. 2 out, bases empty, 6-2 Tigers. Yep. I'm going to range this and make it a C+. Now we got one more. And guys, this may be and look ugly. The Red Wings signed defenseman Luke Witkowski returning to the team to a 2-year contract. Ed, we'll start with you and we'll go to Frank. Ed, what's your grade on Witkowski?
B minus. Probably a C+. Not the deal, but just more so on Witkowski's potential, what he brings to a team, skill set, and all that. So that would be my grade.
All right. And Luke Witkowski, like Frank pointed out off the air, might at least hopefully play for the Grand Rapids Griffins, the AHL affiliate of the Wings, along with Dan Renouf. Frank, what is your grade, with that being said, on Witkowski?
Well, before I heard Steve Yzerman's comments on this, I was prepared to give this a pretty low grade. But when Steve said that he's probably going to be spending a lot of time in Grand Rapids, I'm like, okay, I can live with this. So I'm giving this a C. Just give him the time to play in Grand Rapids and do his job there, because in the American Hockey League, usually they utilize enforcers a lot more, and that's really all he can do. I wouldn't expect to see him up in Detroit very often. Couple games at most, but I'm giving this a C.
All right, I'll make that a C+ as well. So that is our What's Your Grade segment for the Red Wings and Pistons draft picks, free agents, signings, and trades. Now for the Tigers, they are still lingering around 49-55, around the 500 mark, third in the American League Central. Now they're 50-55 as they just beat the Baltimore Orioles 6-2. So let me try to add this or edit this right here. Let's see here. 50-55. I'm going to save this, and then I'll show it right here. So, yeah, the Tigers still lingering around the 500 mark, 50-55. They just beat the Baltimore Orioles 6-2. Baltimore Orioles still stink. The Tigers just 5 games within 500. They came to us close as 4 games within 500. For goodness sake. So, considering that, we'll go to Ed and then Frank. Do the Tigers stand pat come tomorrow's MLB trade deadline?
They're more than likely to stand pat than to buy in. I would prefer. If you could tell me one of 3 options, are they going to buy in, sell, or stand pat? I'm more than likely, I would say stand pat, depending on what deals or what best available deals are there for them. I don't know if they're going to use Jonathan Scope as trade bait. I don't know who else they could potentially be seeing as that that trading block piece that could help bring in some assets in exchange to a contending team right now. So more than likely, I would say they're going to stand pat. But as for the team itself, what they did this past week, this is just the ebbs and flows of a 162-game season. You had to expect that there was going to be a drop-off at some point after the, 7-game win streak that they had coming out of the All-Star break. They got swept by the Royals last week. and obviously they had lost one, but it was a close one. I think it was an extras to the Twins. So the fact
Yeah,
that
it
they
was
were
in
the
10 innings.
the fact they were the rebound and get a win in extra innings themselves, and then they top it off by basically switching off baseball for football references, essentially beating them by a field goal of 17-14. You would think this is a Lions versus Vikings game, the way you look at the score.
At US Bank Stadium.
Yeah, and the fact that you followed up tonight with an absolute yet another outstanding performance by Casey Mize. He goes 7 innings, gives up 1 unearned run,
Gets another win.
Has a couple strikeouts, gets another win. Bullpen doesn't screw it up. Miguel Cabrera finally, coming back into his own groove. It seems more than likely than ever he is going to hit that elusive 500 home run this season. I don't know if he'll get 3,000 hits, but the fact that he's going to at least get 500 home runs, considering the fact that you saw how he started this season in April and May, since the calendar turned to June, it's been a different Cabrera. It's as if, it's not quite the Cabrera of old, but thankfully it's not the Cabrera we've seen now. So
right.
The fact that they've been able to get this type of performance out of him says a lot to not just the team, but it says a lot about AJ Hinch, what he's getting out of his players. Yes, I know it's the AL Comedy Central. We get it, but the fact that this team has made the strides and improvement that they've made from last year to now, and look to build upon into next year and beyond, it's a positive as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and speaking of AJ Hinch, I saw on YouTube one of the videos from 97 Won the Tickets YouTube channel, the Valenti and Rico show. Should AJ Hinch be in consideration for AL Manager of the Year? So
I think he'll get some looks. He'll get some votes. He won't win it because the team isn't contending for a playoff spot right now, but he'll get some consideration. He probably may still get some slack because he still has that stench of Houston on him with what they did with the trash cans. But still, that's beyond that. He's on a different team. He's on his own system now. He's doing things his way now. And I'll tell you what, if the Tigers were to improve even more next year and get close to, if not outright clinch a wild card spot, hell yeah, he'd have my vote for Manager of the Year for sure.
Yeah, he'll have mine too. Frank.
He would have mine too. Who, like Ed said, I think he'll get some looks for Manager of the Year, but since the Tigers aren't really going to get a playoff spot this year, he won't win it. But yeah, I think the job that he's done is nothing short of impressive. This team was a dumpster fire before he came in. And show me a manager who could at least squeeze every drop out of these players and then some. And it's just flat out amazing.
And this is supposed to be considered his basement year, his floor year. This is only his first year. So imagine what he could do as the team gets closer and closer to the ceiling.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Yeah, the ceiling's the limit, but there's still room for improvement. It's just got to come off season time, get rid of some of the players that absolutely suck, such as Nico Goodrum. And they already designated Ian Kroll. He cleared waivers. He's back in Toledo. Ian Kroll probably just exclusive.
Didn't Goodrum get outright released? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, that's Nomar Mazara.
Mazara
my apologies.
Got cut. Yeah. There was a couple DFAs also, but yeah.
Yep. Yep. DF. Yep. So we'll just leave it there. So Nico Goodrum is still on the 10-day injured list. I don't know what's taking him so long. It was like almost 2 months. But yeah, Goodrum's a bust. Making too many errors, not hitting not having a high OPS, not hitting very well, this and that. Goodrum's just not improving much at all. But yeah, for Miguel Cabrera, he hit 2 home runs 496 and 497. Of course, he's just trying to make Major League Baseball history for himself. So with all that said, we've covered everything, and now we've now we go to the What We've Learned segment. Ed Smith, what did we learn? We learned a lot of good stuff tonight, didn't we?
We did, and usually I would say I would use this as a moment to glow upon what the future of Detroit sports looks like, but we've been down that well one too many times. I'm going to use what I've learned this week to highlight something that goes beyond sports. Frankly, it involves life in general. What we've seen now in the past few weeks, first what we saw with Naomi Osaka, now what we're seeing on a much global and grand scale with Simone Biles in the Olympics, how much the importance of mental health and stress and how much that can affect anyone, especially if you are a world-class athlete at the top of your game, at the top of your respective sport, no matter what age. You could be as young as Simone Biles or as young as Naomi Osaka, or you can be as the age of Kevin Love and still suffer from anxiety attacks. Even Michael Jordan himself admitted that he wouldn't know, he may not have been able to handle today's climate, given the fact that knowing what we know about Jordan, of how even he had to step away from the game at the peak of his powers. I think it speaks to how mental health and mental health awareness has taken a back seat and for these kinds of discussions for far too long. I appreciate and commend and respect people like that. I commend, appreciate, and respect Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka for what they've done, putting themselves first. Don't worry about what these corporations and these sponsors and most of these people that frankly don't give a damn about you or your well-being, what they care about. What matters at the end of the day is you. What you matter to yourself, to your friends, to your family, to the people around you that care about you most. And that goes to anyone that's hearing this right now, whether you be at your job, at work, especially now with our essential workers and frontline workers in the middle of over this past year and a half of this pandemic. Think about the toll it's taken on their mental well-being. It's bringing awareness, much needed awareness and attention to an issue that frankly needed it a long time ago. So I'm using this as my moment to say, listen, guys, whatever you're feeling, however you're feeling, if you feel overwhelmed, take a breath, take that moment for yourself, put everything aside, focus on concentrating on getting yourself better, your priorities straight first, because at the end of the day, all you got is you. That's your body, your mind, your piece of happiness. Preserve it as best as you possibly can.
Absolutely. So, Frank, what did you learn?
Yeah, I got kicked out right when Ed was making an incredible.
I didn't mean to. That was not me.
Yeah, I know it wasn't you, Taylor. It just happened. But
right.
I mean, I could go into what I've said in the past about how continue to trust the Eyes plan or be a believer in Troy Weaver. But I'm actually going to play off of what Ed said. I mean, with the news of Simone Biles having to step away from the Olympics and what I've said many times on this show as well, I'm a mental health advocate, and I believe in taking care of your mental health. Whether you're overwhelmed, depressed, whether you're dealing with a lot of stuff at work or at home, sometimes you just have to take time for yourself in order to come back later and be stronger than ever. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that you can't see. Sometimes we don't know what's going on in someone's life. I mean, I don't really know what's going on with Simone Biles, and I personally wish her that she is able to deal with everything and come back better than ever. And also, I'll say this too. If anyone listening to this is ever having any issues at home or just needs someone to talk to, just talk to us. We'll listen to you. I mean, look, I'm not going to say that I've dealt with anyone's situation in particular, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen, because that's what we all need to do. Just be the ears for someone and be a friend.
All right. So what I've learned, Cade Cunningham's in Detroit. Back to focusing on the genre and topics at hand. Cade Cunningham's going to be the face of the Pistons, and of course, maybe the Motor City. Who knows, right? But the Pistons are in the right direction again after officially selecting that guy. And who knows who they'll get that 57th overall pick in exchange for 37 overall, and Mason Plumlee and all. But the Eisner plan is still kicking in, and the Tigers still lingering around that 500 mark. Why not just stand pat right about now, unless I hear something that they traded one of their players for some reason. So, again, the Pistons are in the right direction. I told everyone Cade Cunningham was a lock the whole time. I did, and I was right all along. All the smoke and mirrors by any media was just it just had to be ignored. That's it. So that's what we've learned, and that is another fine episode of the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast on Stables Media, sponsored by the Viget Sports mobile app, where great fans cover. Sign up with a referral code STABLES with a capital S and the rest of the letters being lowercase, including the letter B in the middle as in billionaire. Gentlemen, excellent job as always. We'll be back next Wednesday night at 9-ish p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, for Ed Smith and Frank Vashner, this is Taylor Phillips signing off. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DT2Phillips. Follow Ed Smith on Twitter and Instagram at EdSmith313. And follow Frank Vashner on Twitter and Instagram at Frank_Vashner. VHACNAR. And follow our show on Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram at Michigan_Truth. And like it on Facebook, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. Thanks very much for listening, watching, downloading, and sharing. And remember, the truth is out there. TTFN, ta-ta for now. Power to the people. Hit them with a high, and we rest our case. Stay out of trouble.
Let's go to work, Cade.
Yes, let's go to work, Cade. Is right. Going to work, Pistons. I always love that. Ta-ta.